content is king. I don't believe that you can produce too much content because there's all these filters and things like that. And if you put enough out there, more people will see it. Welcome to the Matt Laricy Project. This is a show about all things real estate, business, marketing, and entrepreneurship. Each show consists of myself, Matt Laricy, a member of my team, and a guest. This week we have John Paul Comez.
Yep, thanks, Laricy.
Is it Comez?
Yeah, Comez.
Yeah. I get it right half the time.
Yeah.
How are we doing today? How you feeling?
I'm doing all right.
We're 2 days away from your girlfriend's birthday.
Yeah, we are.
We doing a proposal? What do we got going
excited.
on?
No proposal.
Okay, I didn't know if you want to announce it on the air.
Having a good, relaxing day. No, nothing on the air.
What are you guys going to be doing?
We're going to get a massage, get a little bit of a facial.
Okay.
Do the whole spa.
Super cute. So make sure you guys follow his Instagram
very
to see
cute.
some very
Stay
cute photos.
Tuned for the cute forehead kisses.
And season 2, episode 17 is using a moving company in Chicago. And today we have Brian Slater with New City Moving. Brian's the founder and president of the company, and it's Chicago's premier moving and storage company for over 10 years now. Brian, how you doing today?
Yeah, I'm doing actually pretty good.
You're feeling well?
Yeah, I'm doing okay.
Drove down from Lake Forest?
Yeah, I drove down from Lake Forest.
What's the drive
Got a
time
massage
like
and a facial right before I came, actually.
Yeah, see?
It's going to keep coming back the whole time now.
Well, did you Instagram it for us so we could see?
No, I didn't, but
Okay.
I'm going to release it at the same time, so
Okay,
this way
good.
there's some,
Okay.
We're going to
So-
sit together.
some synergy.
Okay.
We're trying to draw some more attention to your brand here.
That's
Right,
awesome.
right.
So you're in the moving business, and how long, I know the New City Moving has been around now for 10 years. Were you anywhere before that?
Yeah, so I actually, kind of a weird story. I decided in high school, about halfway through, that I had a really difficult time sitting in a classroom. So I decided that it might be better for me to get my GED. I looked in a newspaper, and it said, try a rewarding career in moving company sales. So I went to work with somebody when I was 17 and started my own company when I was 19 before New City.
Okay.
And transitioned it to New City at the age of 24.
Okay.
So we were doing sales for other moving companies. So I would come on, and if you owned a moving company and you owned a moving company, I would effectively be the sales arm of your business.
Yeah.
What we found was that the customer experience wasn't perfect from start to finish.
Yeah.
We were doing what was best in the client's interest, and then it wasn't always being met on the back end. So I started a moving company in August of 2009, and New City Moving was born.
So you were kind of sick of being like, I'm getting the sales for other people. They're not executing right, so let's just do it ourselves.
100%.
Oh, that makes sense. And then is that like, so that just kind of like made you get in the business in general? Like you're 17, you're like, this is what I want to do, and like you just always knew it. So, and you've been doing it ever since, or what?
I think it's like life throws you a fastball, and you're anticipating it, and you swing, right?
Right.
I think that's kind of how I got into the moving business. I didn't imagine, my first love was always technology, but I didn't imagine sitting in a classroom and sort of going through that continuing education, a classroom type setting.
Right.
Things like Khan Academy weren't an option when I was 17 years
Yeah.
old. So I just started Googling things, and I fell in love with business. And then I think moving was a good segue into working for myself, which is where I like to be positioned.
These kids they're spoiled these days. They
Yeah,
got
they
these
got all
different
the great
options.
tools to be successful.
Did you like sitting in the classroom?
I did not like sitting in the classroom.
You
I
just
wasn't
don't
the best
strike. You
student.
don't strike me as a guy that would like the classroom.
No, I didn't like it at all.
I mean, I also didn't like it either, but I'm just saying, like, I don't know. I've seen classroom, John Paul.
Yeah, I sort of caused a lot of trouble. I talked too much.
If
Yeah.
real estate didn't work out, what was like your plan B?
You know, I was just playing it by ear. I've always been in real estate, like a little bit, but I was in the car business for a long time. So I think that was maybe going to segue into just staying in the business and working my way up. But
That's good. So, moving is like a big recommendation for our clients, and obviously, it's pretty much essential because if you sell or buy a place, somehow your stuff has to get from point A to point B, and you're either doing it yourself or you're hiring somebody. What makes a mover good or bad? Because this is a huge question I actually get. Like, why is this mover good?
Yeah. So I think in the age that we're in, there's a lot of people that can work from anywhere and be able to satisfy a sale from their house. With a remote workforce, I could hire people from all over the world in order to satisfy the client on the front end.
Right.
I think what separates the men from the boys in this situation is that I was, instead of going out on LinkedIn, trying to align myself with different executives, I was out on the street pounding the pavement, finding the best people possible for the back end sort of moving situation, which is 97% of the client's interaction with us as a company
Yeah.
is being done on your house on the day of the move.
So like you're talking about the guys, the boots on the ground. The
I'm
guys
talking
that you
about
see.
the foot soldiers, the
Yeah.
infantry, the
How do you get those guys? Like how do you find them?
yeah. So luckily,
Linebackers.
yeah, luckily
High
we
school
are,
football games. He's like, yeah, these guys look strong.
absolutely.
Wait till they don't make it.
So I think we were fortunate enough to get in the market at a time when a lot of moving companies were closing because of lack of house sales and stuff like this.
Yeah.
So I think that we got lucky by getting a core group of guys that had 10 years of tenure
Yeah.
before they ever worked for us. And then it's just a matter of getting people inside of their families that they're recommending, so
Yeah.
that this way we have that seal of approval when somebody approaches us. Hey, if you can vouch for him
Right.
and he's in, you're going to make sure that he's accountable.
Right.
And I think that, within our company, 5 families turned into, 40 employees when we started.
How do you retain these guys? 'Cause, I mean, is there a shelf life? How long they could move stuff for? Because it's kind of obviously very rigorous.
Strenuous
Yeah,
for everybody.
I would think rigorous. I would say a lot of the stuff really comes through sort of mental will more than physical. I think that your body sort of habituates to it after time.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's a shelf life. I know that if you pay people well and treat them nicely, that you are putting yourself in a high probability to keep people.
Yeah.
So that's something that we're always kind of working on. I would say on average, people stay in the industry within 10 to 12 years.
Okay.
It's generally known in Chicagoland as a job that people do during summers when they're,
Like college or something.
in college
like that?
or something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
We've gone a completely different route. We have our core guys that stay with us all year long,
Yeah.
and then we substitute with J1 professional rugby players,
Okay.
guys that are built like
Yeah.
your partner here.
John Paul?
Yeah.
Oh, man, I don't.
Hey, I'll take it.
Whew.
I'll take
I
it.
don't know about that, but yeah, okay. So you're rolling through these rugby. That's that we were just talking about that though. Like you're getting some big bill guys, some of
Yeah.
these rugby guys, and then like, so you got good talent, which helps you out. What do you think like makes a mover like better than a different mover? Like, is it just the talent that you have, the foot soldiers on the ground, or is the business aspect?
Yeah, I think that there's a lot of different things. There's a lot of different components to moving. And I think what particularly makes New City strong is from the first second that you speak with somebody and you call into our office, you're going to speak with somebody that's going to identify your specific needs and be able to meet those. If you have a larger home, we're going to do a virtual estimate with you using Google Duo or FaceTime.
Yeah.
If you have a smaller home in River North, Wicker Park, Streeterville, we're going to hit you with a virtual estimate. It's going to take about 25 minutes of your time, and we're going to be able to get you a quote right away.
What's a virtual estimate?
A virtual estimate is an estimate in which you walk around your house
Yeah.
and we itemize everything that you're moving using digital technology from our office instead of sending out a representative to your home.
Is it like an app or something like that?
Yeah, so we have a proprietary app, and then in the event that people aren't able to download that app, we use FaceTime or Google Duo.
Do you own the app technology?
I own the app technology for the proprietary. It's a really thin client using something called RTC,
Okay.
which is technology that's been around for a while, but it's something called TalkBox, T-O-K-B-O-X,
Yep.
and we have just skinned that for our specific needs.
Yeah.
So it's a really thin app that clients can download. Majority of the time, people just prefer to give us their phone number. We ask them what sort of phone they have, and then we're connected to them using FaceTime or something similar within seconds.
Sounds easy.
If you hit people with a good customer experience up front, either on the phone or using a virtual estimate, for larger homes, we'll go ahead and send out somebody to your home, show up with a briefcase and make a nice presentation for you. This is like the North Shores, the Hinsdales, the Burr Ridges.
Yeah. These 10,000 square foot houses and stuff.
So on something like that, we can't catch it all with a cell phone. I
Right.
don't pretend to think that they're going to have internet connectivity throughout the whole house and garage.
Right.
So we'll send out a representative to your home. To circle back to your question, we'll get you with a good sale up front, good customer service, and making sure that the estimate is accurate. We'll send out people to your home that do this year round.
Right.
In the event that, or we'll give you a confirmation call before we get to your house. We will, in the event that there's any issues with your move, we will give you a call. Our claims process is smooth. So really, I think about moving as this entire wheel, and I don't think that there's one sort of spoke on the entire wheel. that we're not working every day towards
So
perfecting.
you're just trying to deliver an end-to-end product to make sure that they're having a good customer experience the whole time.
Yeah, I think that there's moving companies in the industry that sort of, foofy up things by like, hey, we're going to deliver you a coffee on move day and we'll leave you with a house plant.
Right.
That works great on a national scale when you're struggling to find good personnel to work for you.
Sure.
Our approach is just like drilling down on the customer experience and really figuring out how we can refine our process around what clients need. What clients need now in real estate, as you
Right.
guys know, is different than what they needed 10 years ago.
Sure, I'm just gonna keep evolving and
Yeah.
moving on. So like, what about like pricing? Because pricing's a big thing. People ask me like, oh, what can I expect to pay for a pricing? So for you guys, it's the virtual app you use or FaceTime,
Correct.
or if they got a rotary dial, we're sending somebody out.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Facsimile.
Yeah,
All
yeah,
that kind of
yeah.
stuff. Carrier pigeon. You've seen Game of Thrones. We use
Oh,
Ravens.
yeah. So what do people do then? Like so you're virtually getting these prices. Like, how do you determine like how much something costs? Like, what's an estimate? Like, how does it work?
That would be like giving away the secret sauce in the Matt Laricy group.
Okay.
No.
My secret sauce is just working hard. That's it.
That's
no
really
days off on the board.
That's really the secret here as well.
Yeah.
Basically, what we're doing is algorithmically, we figured out
Yeah.
how much furniture can be moved by how much personnel safely, how many trucks are needed, and then really it's just an equation based on that. 2-man crew, X price; 3-man crew, X price; 4-man crew, X price. Each additional guy past that.
How does the pricing vary from like your company to another company? Like, is there a set standard in the industry? Like, everybody kind of does this, but like, you can also like expect like we're gonna be cheaper because of this or more.
Yeah, there's 3 different kinds of movers that you're going to face.
Because, and just kind of say that too, because like a big thing people ask me about is like weight charges. Like, well, they said the weight charge is this, and it's off X amount, and then they're like, then they talk to somebody else and like, well, they didn't mention a weight charge. Like, I'm just curious because people ask us these questions all the time.
Yeah.
And I have no freaking clue actually.
So for every realtor out there, it's a very simple process. All movers that are licensed in the state of Illinois must charge, if you're moving somebody from Illinois, within Illinois, on an hourly charge.
Okay.
No exceptions.
Okay.
It's by the hour. It's an estimate based on the hour. If you're choosing a good moving company, they're going to drill down and figure out what your move's actually going to cost. If you're choosing somebody, when you go on Yelp or Google or Angie's List, that doesn't have a good rating, what you should expect is Matt Laricy and his wife are moving a 2-bedroom. Here's your $1,200 quote.
Yeah.
We're really going to drill down and say, well, do you like to keep, all of your sports trophies from high school? And is that going to result in 48 boxes? Or are you the type of person with a minimalist approach, and that's going to be a $600 move instead of an $1,800 move?
Right.
So I think a good mover will assess what the move's going to cost up front. All moves in Illinois charged by an hourly charge, flat out of the gate there.
So like no matter what, it's hourly. It's got to be.
No matter what, it's hourly. You'll get guys on Craigslist. You'll get guys on some, offer up or something that are going to charge you a flat fee for local moving.
Yeah.
These are guys that are unlicensed. One thing that I would urge people to do is to go with a licensed company. Our rates are probably $10 to $15 an hour more than these guys, but that $10 to $15 an hour goes directly into workers' compensation. So if somebody were to hurt themselves on your home, you did not just, take that person into your family and you're going to medically care for them for the next 15 years.
Yeah.
On long distance moves. Long distance moves have 3 ways of doing things. You have your weight charges.
Yeah.
This is, back when dinosaurs were moving bones around, they were doing things based on weight. You have volume charges, which can easily be manipulated and end up increasing your quote.
Right.
And then what we do on all long distance moves, which we just rolled out long distance moving last year, just because we had such a demand for it, we actually look through your items in the same way that we would for a local move, and we just tell you what it's going to be.
Okay.
If we're not a good fit for you, that's perfectly fine for us. We just want to be honest with you up front to let you know what your move is going to cost. Not a penny more, not a penny less.
Yeah.
Effectively, it is what it is. And clients are coming to droves to New City Moving for long distance services. We do things a little bit differently than the industry standard. The industry standard would be to pick up your home in your home, hold your stuff in a storage facility, consolidate that onto a semi-trailer, and then deliver you 30 days down the road. Our premium on a long distance move might be $750, but we'll pick up your stuff from your house, drive it directly to your destination. When you think about $750, it sounds like a lot, but I haven't stayed in a hotel in a while, so I don't know what a hotel would cost for 30 days. But I imagine it's over $750.
So like, and that's a big thing I see is like people will move, so for everybody listening out there, when you do an out-of-state move, well, you know, you're moving from here to a different state. They wait to get somebody else like moving kind of nearby or somewhere on the way to kind of make sure like it makes it worth their while. And then what ends up happening is that this just happened with a client of mine is where the truck that they were sharing it with, I guess, was full, and there wasn't enough room for their stuff. So they only moved like most of their stuff.
So then it resets again. That 30 days of you waiting turns into
like
60 days.
Yeah. And they were like, how could that happen? I'm like, I mean, I don't know. Like, this is a question for them, you know? But like, you know, so I'm just curious, like, how, like, is there any repercussions people have when that type of stuff happens?
I would say absolutely none.
Okay.
I would say that that's why people are changing to the method that we're kind of offering. And I don't pretend that we invented this sort of offering, but the world doesn't move at the pace of we're going to wait 30 days for items.
Right. Uber and Jimmy John's one, man.
Absolutely.
You know, everybody wants everything now. So, you know, you're talking about all these other costs. What about costs like that have to do with like boxes and tape and things of that nature? Like, because that's a big charge I see. Like a lot of people are like, hey, there's these, you know, $20 tape charges per roll, and I have to get like 100 rolls. Or,
Absolutely, yeah.
You know, like, what is that?
We're
like,
priced right around the $1.50 price point instead of the $20 price point.
Okay.
I'm gonna pilot that $20 per roll of tape and see if that takes off.
Yeah. Okay.
No. So basically, you have moving companies that will inflate charges. These are the same companies that are quoting you based on like how much square foot do you have? I have 1,000. It's going to be 1,200. So those same companies might be omitting the fact that you're going to have additional boxes and things like that. Effectively, what we charge for boxes and tape are pretty much our cost plus some sort of pass-through cost in order for us to handle it from the distributor, put it on a truck, get it to your home.
Right.
And the great thing is that we have a formula for estimating everything up front so that none of the costs are a surprise to you.
Because you see that a lot. Like they'll get a quote, and then they'll say they move, and they'll be like, hey, just so you know, like these guys told me it was $1,200, and then payment day came and I owed them $3,000. Like, how does that happen?
Yeah. So companies that do that type of behavior don't do it once. Any company that exhibits that sort of behavior is doing it on a day in, day out basis. So I would urge somebody to hop on the internet and see if you're comfortable with the behavior of the company that you're getting involved with. Companies don't go bad one day and then go back to being good.
Right.
So anybody that's quoting you, the big thing with long distance is make sure that you're dealing with the actual moving company instead of a broker.
Yeah.
Brokers are bad in this situation.
Right.
In this particular situation, not so bad with realtors.
Yeah.
The word broker in our industry means that a group of people, usually from Florida or something like that, are sitting out of their home selling moves, taking a 30% commission on that move, and then giving it to a moving company. Or selling it to a moving company. It doesn't guarantee who you're going to get as a mover. It doesn't guarantee if that contract's going to be purchased and you're actually going to get a mover.
Right.
So when you see these Pam Zeckman, Walter Jacobson, you know, stuff went wrong, they kept the stuff on the truck, that's effectively companies that change names every 3 months in order to sort of shield themselves.
Yeah.
And those are companies.
Shell companies.
Yeah, those are like shell companies that they're creating in order to just evade people from actually knowing about their company. It's cheap to incorporate. It's cheap to throw up a website and whatever the hell Wix they're using or something.
Yeah.
So technology is really cheap now, and they're just sort of churning and burning.
So how do people protect themselves then? Is it just through like things like looking at Yelp and Angie's List and stuff like that to do some research, or like, and like what rights do you have if somebody says it's a $12, $13 charge and then ends up being $3,000 afterwards? Like, what if you're just like, fuck it, I'm not paying you?
The Department of Transportation is seriously underfunded.
Okay.
And through being underfunded, you're not going to get somebody at your door the next day saying, when you call the police out to your house, they're going to say that it's, I believe, a civil matter.
Yeah.
I've just heard this through reading other companies' horror stories and all this kind of stuff. So they're going to tell you that it's a civil matter. They're not going to do a damn thing for you.
Yeah.
I think your time is best spent up front, sort of knowing who you're getting into bed with.
Right.
Instead of wasting your time with somebody putting your stuff in a storage facility and giving your stuff once an inflated quote comes. Once again, companies don't wake up on the wrong side of the bed on a Tuesday,
right.
Charge your client $9,000 instead of $7,000, and then on a Wednesday are back to being Jesus and Jesus of Nazareth. You know what I mean?
Right. So minus all the pricing things that can go wrong and everything, like, and people kind of research it online to try to figure out like what makes a company better than others. What are some things that like else that could go wrong? Like what about same day moves? Like we do a lot of buy sells, and what a buy sell is for everybody out there means that like you're, selling your place at 9 a.m. and then you're closing on your new property at like 4 p.m. and the night before you got to be out, so your shit's on a truck overnight or something like that, right? And then it sits there, and God forbid, let's hope nothing happens. So then you close at 4, and you guys are rolling around by like 4:30 to let them in, and get all your shit off the truck.
Yep.
Is that a nightmare for you guys logistically?
I think logistically it's only a nightmare in the sense that, we have a large fleet of trucks.
Yeah.
However, we treat it much like an elevator reservation. It's virtually done in the same way.
Yeah.
If you have a buy-sell that's close together, I'll tell my guys, hey, take a couple hours of lunch. I'll pay you out of my pocket. We won't charge the client.
Yeah.
Let's make them happy, and let's go from point A to point B. If we see that it's going to be a situation where there's a couple hours of lag time in between, I've bought a couple places myself over the years, and if the wire doesn't hit, it turns into some catastrophic mess.
Yeah.
We always urge clients to do what's called overnight retention.
Yeah.
What overnight retention is we will pick up your items the day that you request.
Right.
We will either hold those items or keep those items in our storage facility, and then we will deliver within an hour to 3 hours of you calling us up and saying, we're funded, this thing's going to go through, pens to paper,
Right.
I'm ready to get my stuff.
And then you keep it going. Do you ever run into problems of like stuff like like trucks getting broken into and people steal the shit? Or anything?
We're right on the cusp of Bucktown Lincoln Park,
Yeah.
so we don't get much in the way of that. We have a secure gated lot, a camera system, and effectively we're a 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. business. Between that 6 a.m. between that 11 p.m. and that 6 a.m., we have people loading the trucks for the next morning. So it's like how a grocery store sort of restocks the shelves at night.
Yeah.
So we have somebody doing that, and we have somebody on site. It's a 24-hour business.
Okay.
Except for major holidays, it's.
So never had it happen?
I've never had it happen with us.
I'm just curious. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
you,
yeah.
do you ever think about stuff like
Knock
that?
on wood, yeah. I mean,
Theft
happens all the time. How big's your facility that you guys store
we're in the
stuff
city. He said it's in Lincoln Park, Bucktown.
at? Yeah. Could
majority
happen. I mean, it happens
majority
anywhere.
of that stuff is I believe, I'm not casting any stones here, but based on my knowledge in the moving industry, a lot of that stuff is like an inside job.
Okay.
Tell me that somebody doesn't say, hey, Mark, I just got Matt and John Paul's stuff, and we just parked the truck. I mean, there's no way, out of the fleet of trucks that we have, it would be impossible to say we have 2 shipments with
Shit and everything else
with
is
stuff
there.
in it.
Yeah.
Bring the bolt cutters to truck number 35 instead of truck number 24.
Right.
That
makes sense.
It's really not something that
So-
could happen. To answer your question, so we purchased a facility in Bucktown in May of 2007 that used to be a chrome plating factory. Everybody thought it had a bunch of EPA issues. I rolled the dice on it. It was like a $60,000 cleanup, but we have a Google-esque 18,000 square foot office with a parking lot in Bucktown, and then we lease an additional, let's call it 3 acres that we keep the trucks on. And then to your question, our storage facility is right by Rush Hospital. So we got pretty much a sweetheart deal over there on 6.2 acres. And of that 6.2 acres, 4.8 acres are allocated to storage, of which we're only occupying a quarter right now because we're still building up our portfolio of
a lot of
clients.
land.
Yeah, it's a lot of space. You can handle so many moves. I mean, how many people are storing their stuff at one time?
Yeah, so we have 556 clients at current point, storing about the equivalent of 2 bedrooms worth of furniture each. So if anybody out there is wondering about our storage process, instead of doing self-storage or something like that, we're able to reduce cost by getting wooden storage vaults, which are 5 feet by 7 feet by 8 feet. We put all of your furniture inside of our temperature-controlled warehouse,
Yeah.
probably at about 2/3 what you would cost at a self-storage facility, and we stack the boxes 3 high. So we're able to maximize square footage, and we pass on the savings to the client.
Cool. So and then so like we're talking about like break-ins and stuff like that. Like there's like moving insurance you could purchase always. Is this something worth getting?
Yeah, so I mean,
And And how often does shit break? Does it happen often?
Yeah, so our average is about 2.8% of clients have some sort of damage.
Okay.
I believe the industry average is 12.6.
Okay.
So does stuff like this happen? Yes. I think that I think that a good comparison would be, is it worth me getting renter's insurance, right?
Yeah.
If you have an IKEA nightstand, an IKEA bed, and 2 boxes, it's probably not in your best interest to do something like that.
Yeah.
If you have something that was grandma's imported China cabinet from overseas, it's probably best to consider stuff like this. Now, moving companies don't actually sell insurance. I want to let you know about the terminology of insurance.
Yeah.
We're not licensed to sell insurance.
Right.
We're licensed, or we're not licensed, but we're able to do something called valuation, which we're self-insuring ourselves in order to protect your items.
Right.
And basically what New City does is we take, 5 cents for every $100 that you're spending on your move, and we put that into a coffer, and then if something happens, we'll be able to come out to your house.
Yeah.
Something great that we're able to do that I think is unique to us in the Chicagoland market is that we have a gentleman on staff that was a home builder down in Florida who moved here to be with his wife, who is a airline attendant.
Okay.
And so we have a person on staff that is formerly a home builder, but instead of basic insurance on a move is 30 cents a pound
Okay.
for a local move, 60 cents per pound for a long distance move. If I was to damage your TV, I would effectively owe you $14.
Yeah.
What we do on that kind of stuff, whenever we have damages to furniture, and really the bulk of our issues are, I have a scratch on my dining chair, or one of the boxes was a little crumpled.
Right.
We will send out somebody, no questions asked, to come to your home with professional equipment and get that item back to snuff at no cost to the client. So that's something that's unique to us.
Got it.
30 cents per pound, ultimately a year would end up costing me $10,000 a year to provide. We're providing a $70,000 a year service to accelerate our customer service and brand image.
That makes sense. How often do you guys see like a lot of problems? You said 2.8% or something like that?
Yeah, 2.8% of moves at New City have some sort of damages. I would say 3% of moves. So we survey everybody, right, before the move. Or so after the move, we will send out a text message to you, and that
Right.
text message effectively says, the reason why we do it like that is because you're not. I don't have to come to you as Brian, the mover from New City Moving, and say, "Hey Matt, fill this out on how I did today,"
Right.
and then you're handing me back a piece
Yeah,
of
yeah.
paper that's like, "This dude had BO."
Yeah.
So it's probably not the best approach.
Right.
So we send out a text message after every move, and it asks you to score us based on 1 to 10 of how your overall experience was.
Right.
If you scored a 9 or 10, we are going to say, thank you for using our company. Please consider us in the future for our moves. Thank you so much.
Right.
If you score that sucker between an 8 to a 1,
Yeah.
if you scored a 7 or an 8, you're going to get our customer service manager, Judy, who does a really great job at just hearing how we can improve for the future
Yeah.
and addressing any issues.
Wrong. Yeah.
If that sucker's a 6 to a 1,
Yeah.
my phone number is 773-269-8669.
Yeah.
Call me and I'll fix it.
Yeah. Figuring out what happened.
Flat out.
Yeah.
Anything that's a 6 or a 1, I'm dealing with myself. We did 12,000 moves last year. I probably spoke with 50 clients throughout the course of the moving process that were dissatisfied.
Well, online reviews and stuff like that are big. You know, you
Online
can-
reviews
you know,
are huge.
And like if you get a couple, you get 10 one-star reviews, it could kill your business.
Yeah, absolutely. I think for us, starting in 2009, it was like right at the time when Yelp
Yeah, Yelp started getting big in 08. Yeah.
started becoming big.
Yeah.
So there was all these incumbents in moving, right? I'm the guy that every realtor uses because I'm the only one that goes to their office.
Right.
I'm the guy that pays $40,000 a year for the back of the Yellow Pages.
Right.
These guys were crushing it.
Yeah.
But they were
until
also crushing customers' dreams.
Until the internet happened, and then it kind of like leveled the playing field.
After the internet happened, it allowed a young kid at 24 with 1 truck and 3 employees. It gave me the opportunity to see the results of my merit.
If you know how to utilize the power of the internet, I mean, when you own a business, it can take you from 0 to 100 really quickly. I mean, and speaking of technology and stuff like that, how does those moving app companies like Dolly and stuff like that affect your business? Are you seeing a loss of business? Does it matter to you at all?
Yeah, I don't particularly think. So we always like for clients to call in and get a quote from us.
Yeah.
I think that what Dolly and Schlepp and things like that do for us is it eliminates the amount of calls. When we started the company, we were like right down the street from DePaul,
Right.
moving dormitories. Our
Right.
average ticket was $320.
Right.
Now our average ticket's $1,000. Our sweet spot is, do you have the studio 1 bedroom in Wicker Park all the way up to the 10-bedroom house in Kenilworth? That's our
Right.
sweet spot. I think that what they're taking off of our plate, and we don't so much mind, is I picked up a Pac-Man arcade from Costco,
Right.
and I need that delivered to my home.
Right.
I bought some furniture from Crate and Barrel, and it's a single chair.
Right.
For everybody listening, I would never tell you to go with another moving company. If you are moving a singular piece of furniture
Right.
inside of your home or want a delivery from Costco, our minimum is going to be $285.
Yeah.
You can get this stuff moved for $60 to $80, but just understand what you're getting, right?
Right.
Anytime that you have a national brand, or somebody that employs, thousands of people, it's not going to have that New City Moving or that Matt Laricy Group touch to it.
Sure.
So the difference between our processes, our average tenured employee is probably about 6 years at our company.
Right.
These apps, you just have to know what you're getting, and,
Sure.
and you have to understand price for your price point, what your tolerance is, right? So you have an average tenure of 6 years for a mover that does this every day,
Right.
or you have somebody that goes online, fills out a 17-minute survey, gives information for their 1099.
Right.
They're FedExed out next day a T-shirt, and they're a mover.
Yeah. No, I mean, I get it. It's kind of, we see a lot of online companies come into our business a lot.
Let's talk about Redfin.
Yeah. I mean,
1% listing. I see the billboards. I mean, it's like
they're 1.5% now because they had to take those down. So, I mean, and they have fees and stuff. And like I always tell people, like some people just aren't meant to use Realtor. You want to be more involved. And I'm not gonna bash any company. I mean, I always say they make red cars, black cars, and blue cars. Everybody's got their own opinion on kind of what works and what they like. So. There's a lot of stuff out there. What about where do you think the future of moving is going? Like, do you think it's going to change at all?
Yeah. So I think that there is some amount of so there's a lot of technology coming out now in the way of AI.
Yeah.
That you're able to walk through your home with your phone. I don't have mine on me,
Yeah.
but you're able to walk through your home with your phone, and it's going to identify the measurements of this table, this pillow,
Yeah.
and it's going to effectively inventory everything for us. Is
Yeah.
that something that we're going to leverage? Are we going to take that person on the other side of that iPad that's speaking with you and giving you that experience? Is that something that we're going to adapt? I don't know.
Yeah.
I think that machine learning might be big in the future
Sure.
in regards to, I'm going to take your move and your move, and I'm going to compile that with the 12,000 data points that I
Right.
have per year.
Yeah.
And it's going to tell me within a certain amount of dollars exactly how much your profile of move is going to cost,
Right.
based on a variety
Yeah,
of
it's going to
different
have
points.
an algorithm. I mean, pretty much what's going to happen is you think that the moving is just going to get a little bit more efficient with the technology.
Absolutely, I think so. I think that even the small guys are going to benefit from that technology.
Yeah.
We are not Google or Facebook or Amazon in regards to the amount of data points that we have on people, but we move 12,000 people a year.
Sure.
So I can tell how much the average move cost, and that's something that historically we've been doing, in Excel.
Sure.
And that's something that I think is going to be automated moving forward.
Yeah. It's going to
the-
make life easier.
The best thing for us is that as people get squeezed out of warehouse jobs and things like this,
Right.
I don't think that I think that we're a far way off from, MoveBot 5000.
Sure.
And I think that we're pretty much going to be in this thing for a while.
Okay, that's cool. And then we have what we call the Fast Five, where the co-host asks 5 questions to you. John Paul, you want to get this going?
Yeah, so what's the best piece of advice you've ever received?
So I think the best piece of advice that I've ever received would be to just keep going. I think that there's been so many times when I look back and say, man, if I would have waited in with that college degree and read these white papers, I would know exactly what I was getting myself into.
Right.
So I think I was at a disadvantage based on that. There's days, especially now, I know that you just had a young child. I got number 2 on the way.
Yeah.
I have an 11-month-old daughter. Life has told me to just keep going. I effectively built this business by Googling things and falling asleep at my desk and waking up and continuing to work. And I think the difference between things like your guys' company and mine is that we do have those setbacks, and we're just able to wipe ourselves off in a very non-millennial kind of way and just
Right. Keep
continue to chug forward. There's days that sometimes I'm driving home and I'm like, can I do this?
Right.
And then I tell myself, just keep going.
Yeah.
Cool. Do you love to win or hate to lose?
I think everybody loves to win. That's a pretty easy one. However, I think that I would go with I hate to lose, and I would say that, and I would say everybody loves to win, right? But I would say that I hate to lose under the premise that I was so competitive chasing these incumbents and moving when I first started this business that I was focused on what would take me to the top and very, analytical in that respect. And then now that we're sort of the big dog in Chicago, I hate to let myself down.
Right.
So I just continue to go. I hate to let other people down. So
Right.
Anybody that knows me inside of my company, we have 217 employees, 76 trucks. Anybody inside of my company knows that when something happens and we disappoint a client, that I take it personally.
Right.
So I would go with hate to lose.
Standard. Rose. Let's see. Who's your biggest hero?
So this is one that somebody asked me a couple weeks ago, and so I've never been really the type to be amused by seeing Vince Vaughn at the Starbucks, or I never really got into like celebrities or Kardashians or Kanye or like the coolest thing in the world.
Yeah.
I would say the coolest thing in the world to me is I never really had those people that I adored from the outside. I would say the process of meeting my wife 2 years ago and then 8 months ago with her delivering my daughter, when you see that process and it brings you to genuine tears for the first time, I think that's I think my wife's my hero.
Great answer.
I gave her a bill of sale on the fact that she was going to be this awesome stay-at-home mom. We moved out to Lake Forest. I got her like a massage, and so I gave her this great bill of sale. She was going to be a stay-at-home mom. My office manager of 13 years decided to go work with her husband.
Yeah.
And my wife stepped in, filled in the role for a 200-plus employee company, and is doing a great job at managing that, and stepped away from teaching on the south side. I think you guys might even went to the same school. Her
Yeah.
name's- yeah, awesome for her to step in, and
The
like
wife.
that's my hero. Yeah.
Nice.
Cool. And if you could have one superpower, what would it be?
Yeah, this one's super easy for me. Have you guys ever seen the movie Short Circuit
Yeah.
with Johnny Five?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
How he reads through the book really
Yeah.
quick and
Yeah.
understands, like need
Yeah.
input, need input.
Yeah.
Not even speed reading, speed understanding.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
I would take that, like
Yeah.
just
Yeah,
that.
that would be
Yeah.
sweet. That's the first time
Picking
I
up
heard that.
picking up a book and going like this and being
Yeah.
able to determine
Yeah.
all that,
You
like
read
need
straight.
input.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
nice.
I'm all over it.
Short Circuit was awesome, actually. Yeah.
Good
One of my
movie.
favorites.
Good
Yeah.
movie.
You've never seen it?
No, I've seen it.
He
Now-
gets the mohawk at the end. He
Exactly, I
swings by the
remember.
rope.
Yeah.
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 Awesome. Like
It's a great
that's
movie.
that guy's also my hero as well. So like that guy, Michael Jordan, are like some runners up for that hero thing.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
And last one, what makes you Chicago?
September 2nd, 1983, born at St. Joseph's Hospital. Born and raised on Diversey in Elston. Lived there until I was 15. Moved to North Mayfair. Came back to 1 block away from where I was born and raised, and opened up a business and are employing 200 of my folks from my community.
Wow.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Your roots are here.
So where can people find you, and what would you want to plug?
Yeah, so people can find us at newcitymoving.com. Feel free to give us a call for anything that you need in the way of local moving, long distance moving, packing, storage. If you just need somebody to talk to, just a friend,
Yeah.
give us a buzz. We'll we can just shoot the shit,
Nice. So make sure to tune into our next episode and subscribe to our podcast. Thanks for listening to the Mad Laricy Project. Make sure to subscribe to our podcast, follow us on Instagram, and like us on Facebook.